Hey Flosstube, it's Emer here, and I'm back with another episode of some stitchy goodness. At least I hope it's good. I don't know. Maybe it won't be. Anyway, with that very encouraging start, I'm going to start off with some whips today. I have a couple to show you. I've made some good progress, I think. I've been stitching a lot lately, and while I think I sometimes get the feeling that I'm not making progress just because stitching is a slow hobby. Kind of looking at it now and having gathered my whips, I'm like, okay, I've made a decent amount of progress since my last video. Like I haven't been slacking, I can promise you that. So as I was going to say as usual, but I can't honestly remember if I usually start with this. I'm going to start with my peppermint purple stitch along. Ta-da! We are on week 16 at the moment, if you can believe that. We are somehow 16 weeks into 2021. I'm loving it. I know I've talked about this piece before, about how it gives me a sense that the year is actually progressing. Now, funny, Ireland did recently extend our travel distance. Before it was you had to stay within 5 kilometers of your home. Now we can travel within our county or 20k, whichever is bigger, I believe. So unfortunately I can't visit my family yet, and I last saw them on the 26th of December. We call pretty much every day, but it's not the same as getting to see them and hug them and just be with them. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to see my family soon. My rough estimate is probably early June. If I'm lucky, I might be able to get to see them in May. Realistically, I'm thinking it'll be June. I could be totally wrong in either direction. Hopefully it won't be later in June. But yeah, so this piece, each Wednesday, it's like a mark of progression for myself, that yes, this year is marching forward. Like I can see it in the weather, times are changing, things will get better, essentially, is what this piece is reminding me. Which is a lot for some black work to do, but here we are. I've also, since my last video, I got some needle minders, and this one is so cute. I love hedgehogs, I always have. This little pink hedgehog is just so cute. So he lives on that. There's no needle on him at the moment because I had to take it off last night to stitch something else. I forget what I was working on. But here we go, peppermint purple stitch along. Up next is my Bad Bitch Club piece. So I'll show you it first of all. And what you might be noticing, if I can get it off, is the needle minder. It's the same. I am changing up the background. I had some really cool variegated floss. The colours are perhaps a bit softer in real life. That's like a kind of lemony colour. And there is more like lavendery lilacs in real life than perhaps what is picking up in the camera. But I've had that problem. No, it's not a problem. Like it still looks good, I think. And this is my first time using variegated thread for a large area of background. I've used it for text before, and I know I like the look of it, but this was my first time using it for the background, so I was a little bit nervous. But I think it's really adding texture to the background of this piece, and I'll probably do it for the outer ring around Bad Bitch Club. What's weird is I noticed when I posted this to the cross-stitching subreddit, and some people asked me for the pattern. I went on Etsy and could not find the pattern anymore. In my purchases it says I can no longer download the pattern. Thankfully I have it saved to my laptop. But it seems just that the pattern isn't for sale. And I went on to the needleminder shop. I forget what the name is, unfortunately. I will link it in the description. But I also couldn't find the needleminder, so I have to wonder if perhaps the original artist hadn't given permission for this to be used. I hope that wasn't the case. I intend on finishing this piece either way, but I don't want to feel guilty when I look at it either. Be like, oh, the artist wasn't okay with this being made. I really hope that isn't the case. But just picking it back up again for a sec, I've been really enjoying the solid flat areas of colour. It's nice to just like not to think, and just fill in that big block of colour. I've missed that. I haven't done it in a while. I've been doing a lot of like black work and having to count in areas. So it was a very welcome break to just be able to go block of colour. So next up in my whips is something that has been regularly appearing, and I'm pleased to say that I made some good progress on it, I think. This is the Baba Yaga's Cottage. I have since filled in the black of the roof. I've actually finished all the shingles on the roof. I couldn't quite tell because they're a grey colour, which is similar to the fabric. But I finished that in, finished off the chimney and the smoke. There is maybe not a mistake, but it's one stitch off. I think the mistake is in the roof, which is why I only did one side of the arch first. I will kind of finish the smoke, which I've done, and then my plan is to like build up the arch and then just adjust a couple of stitches so that it lines up. So technically there's a mistake, but it won't look like it, and no one will know except for me and all the people I've just told on the internet. I've also been working on the text. It will say, turn your back to the forest, your front to me, which is the like open sesame of the Baba Yaga's cottage. And again, my third needle minder, I bought 3, is on this piece. I like bees, so I got a bee. I have a bee earring. I love earrings. Getting sidetracked. I have my ears pierced. I think I have 9 piercings, but I have a little bee in my ear. I have a bee on my stitching now, and I have stitched bee pieces before, so bees all over. So that is it for the whips that I have been working on recently. I have one more whip, and I'm going to show it to you now. It is Fragments in Time, Virtues 2020, Harmony. And I've probably talked about this when I got the pattern. I think I talked about making some sort of small cushion or like sachet out of it. And I don't know why I didn't finish this. Like, I'm not that far off from finishing. I have some leaves to do. I have to write the word stitch the word harmony, and then it's done. Why didn't I just finish it? Why has it been sitting in a like store my stitches in little plastic envelopes? Why has it been sitting in an envelope folder since like Christmas? I don't know. So my plan is to work on it this weekend. It's Saturday morning now at the moment. I might get it finished today, if not today, tomorrow. I'll not fully finish it this weekend, as in I won't turn it into a cushion or some other fully finished project, but I'll get the stitching done this weekend. Past me, what the hell? Why did you not finish this? Anyway, so that is properly it for my whips. So as we are all aware, I hope the month of May is coming up, and what most of you probably who watch Flosstube videos will be aware is the concept of Stitch Mania, where people start a number of projects in the month of May. I've never done Mania before. Lindy Stitches kind of came up with the idea of Stitch Sania a couple of years back, I believe, where you pick 4 whips that you have ongoing and you'd like to make progress in, and for each month of May you stitch those Monday to Friday, and you kind of set yourself a goal, be that a kind of stitch count or time spent stitching. And if you reach that goal, you can start a new stitch at the weekend, which I think is a much more reasonable way of doing it. And I like the idea of setting a target, because what I've been trying to avoid is starting a bunch and never really finishing them. Like if I start something and then if I'm not enjoying it or I don't really care to see it finished, I'm fine with putting it away and just kind of accepting that I might not finish that piece. It's not ideal, obviously. I'd love to finish everything I've ever started stitching, but sometimes maybe it was related to a show or a book or something that I was really passionate about at the time, and now I'm kind of like, don't care. Or maybe it was just patterns. Like, I know I bought a lot of patterns when I started stitching that now I wouldn't have bought. They're not my style. And I think it just took time for me to learn what my style was. I've been stitching for, this is like my 6th year of stitching now. And at the start I just bought stuff, like they had buy one get one offers on Etsy and stuff, and I'd pick up patterns like that, and to use the words of Marie Kondo, they don't spark joy. So I don't think, like, obviously it would be ideal if I'd never spent the money on these patterns that I don't love, but we all stitch for fun. I'm not going to stitch something that I don't enjoy stitching. Yeah? It's a hobby. It's not a chore. So yeah. Getting back to the idea of Maynia, I'm still not sure what to do. I want to keep working on my 3 main whips, the Baba Yaga's House, the Bad Bitch Club, and then I suppose my weekly blackwork sampler is just a weekly pattern that I typically get done on the Wednesday night, Thursday if I have something on the Wednesday. And that's a good place for me to be in at the moment. I'm kind of counting it as like 2.5 whips. You know, it's enough variety. I'm enjoying the pieces. Like Baba Yaga's got a lot of black, Bad Bitch Club's got a lot of solid colours, the blackwork's all back stitching. It's a nice variety of types and colours and styles and sizes that I think I'm in a good place with my whips. But I would like to do something for Maynia. You can see the predicament I'm in. So I'm going to show you some pieces I have. One in particular I definitely will start in the month of May. I know I have shown this on my channel before. It is Love is Where the Shepherd Is by Jardin Privé. And I know I've spoken about my plan to do this as a wedding gift for my cousin. I'm going to swap out the alphabet for their names. I'm going to do it on this fabric, Bramble Edinburgh linen. And that is something that the wedding's in August, near the end of August, and I just want to give myself plenty of time. So I think having it as a start in May is a perfect balance between wanting to start something new in May and take part in Maynia, Sania, whichever one I end up calling it. Probably Sania. I think I'm leaning towards the Sania end of the spectrum. But yeah, it's a fun start. I'm looking forward to starting it. It looks pretty simple. Simple but pretty. Can't wait. Next up is something that I don't actually intend to start, but I've included it in my kind of stash pile because I can't remember if I've shown this pattern before. It is Hunter Gatherer, designed by Karen Kluba, published by Rosewood Manor. It's a very cool like sampler. Artist statement at the back says it was inspired by old photos of my father who loved to hunt and fish. So we had a lot of wild game and fish when I was growing up. I just think it's really cool. There's a lot of like cool motifs. I like the colours. I like the animals. cool pattern. Don't know when I'll start it, but it's one of those patterns that I'm just kind of happy with having. I went through my I keep all my cross stitch supplies in a large green box, threads, fabric, patterns. And I went through them all, and a lot of the patterns that I had physical copies of, particularly that Hunter Gatherer, and there was Cathedral Woods Goddess by Mirabilia. I don't intend to start them until I've finished some of my current whips, but I don't regret having bought them in advance. Like, even just looking at the Cathedral Woods Goddess, I was happy to have it, and I'm like, okay, I know I want to stitch this at some point. But having this pattern in my collection doesn't make me feel guilty or pressured, which is a great place to be in, honestly. I've already mentioned Marie Kondo once in this video. I read her book recently. I saw the Netflix show when it aired, and it was all the go, but I read her book. Parts of it are bananas, like folding your socks instead of balling them up because it will make the socks feel sad, or talking to your out of season clothing to like remind it that it's loved. I'm not gonna start doing that, but I did a big declutter of my clothes. I actually have started folding my socks, and I like it because I can actually see all my socks and tights. But I'm trying to apply that concept to other parts of my life where, you know, does it spark joy, but also, is this something that I am happy to own? Like, does it, if it's a book, would I pick it up and read it again? My plants, I've got plants behind me, you know, they contribute to my happiness. That sounds really silly, but I'm just trying to kind of be more purposeful about what sparks joy, and what, you know, like going through those patterns last night, if any of them had made me feel guilty about, oh, I haven't started that stitch, I should have started it, that's not what the hobby is about for me. I don't want to feel like, oh, that box, I can't look at that box because it's a reminder of my failings as a stitcher. So it was just really affirming to look through it last night and go, I'm happy looking at this. Even the patterns I haven't started yet, I'm happy having these and looking at them and thinking, you know, I will stitch them. Doesn't matter when I get around to doing it. You know, I'm not going to buy a whole pile of patterns with that and work on that logic, but I like what I have, I think is what I'm trying to say. Very long-winded way of saying I like what I have. Anyway, next up is something I might start. It is a stitch along that is, I think, nearing the end. It is by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and it is called, I forget. It's not called I Forget. One moment. Dark Queen of the Sea. And it is a very cool mermaid pattern. I ordered the floss. I have the beads. I even ordered the fabric. Look how beautiful that is. I don't know if you can see the opalescence in it. There's little shimmery sparkles throughout. It is one of the most pretty pieces of fabric I own. It is 32 count linen, colour name Bewitched, by Under the Sea Fabrics. And this was the recommended fabric for the piece. I think it was like a collab between Autumn Lane Stitchery and Under the Sea. I do notice here though, this fabric is not colour fast. Note to self, do not wash this finished piece. You will regret it. So this feels like something I should start. Like, the sale is still ongoing, so the Facebook group is active. I know I have a lot of catching up to do. I'm not going to be able to catch up to them, but I don't know, I'm in no rush to start it. Like I was saying, I don't feel guilty having this. I don't feel guilty that, like, oh, I spent the money on the floss and the fabric, I haven't started it yet. I just feel fine having this. What I might do is, if I go the Sania route, have this be a weekend start, see how I feel after working on it for a weekend. If I love it, I'll keep going on it. If I still feel that it's kind of a future piece, that's fine. It's fine by me. And then the last future me piece is also by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I don't have the pattern, so I'm going to have to show it to you on my laptop. It is this lovely autumn village, picturesque, and it is called Autumn Town with an E on the end. And it's a very nice piece. Caught my eye last night. I even have suitable fabric. I have a willow green 18 count Ada, which would be pretty damn perfect, showing up as kind of yellowish on camera. There is a yellowish tinge, but it would work. It would be fine for the autumn scene. And I'm very on the fence. The pattern calls for DMC, and there are a couple of variegated floss. I think it's mostly for the trees to get that autumn leaf look. I probably wouldn't use the called for colours for the DMC. I'd probably just sub in whatever was closest. Because in general I don't tend to buy floss unless it's for a project like the Under the Sea or the Dark Queen, where it kind of requires that similar colours be the correct shades and stuff like that. What I will probably end up doing is leaving this for a little bit, and if Maynia / Sania is going well for me and I feel like I want a new start, I will spring for the pattern and stitch. Is that bold? I don't know. I work full time. I pay my bills. I can buy a €9.60 pattern if I want. But yeah, let me know what your Maynia or Sania plans are. I feel very reserved right now. Actually, I only really have 3 starts. Well, 2, and then 1 that I maybe considering. So my May might be very sane indeed. I think I'm fine with that. But let me know in the comments what you think about the Autumn Town piece and just my plan for Sania in general. I think I'll keep going with my current whips, and maybe the starts that I showed you. Maybe I have some other starts, some smaller starts. I might start a small start in the month of May. I know I have one with little teacups and something like tea is the answer or something like that on it. That could be a cute start, and it's small. But yeah, I'm very happy with after filming this. I feel like, yeah, my cross stitching is in a good place. I like my supplies, I like my projects. Good times all around. Alright, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your plans are for the month of May in the comments below. What are you working on at the moment? Are you steering clear of Maynia? Have you got 31 whips lined up, one for every day? Let me know. I want to hear it. Bye.